because those who believe will be believed, and those who are convinced will be convincing. And without passion, energy, and conviction, people will see right through you, and they will not want to move forward with you. Welcome back to the Leaders Only podcast, where we talk about business, leadership, mindset, and just pretty much anything revolved around building an incredible life. You know, one of the reasons that I started this podcast is because I felt like on the way to where we're at now, there wasn't really a place to go to learn tangible skills that are needed in order to succeed and further yourself and just get better overall in every area of your life. And so some background about me, I built a sales company that does over 8 figures a year. I own over $10 million worth of real estate, and I've built a multiple 7-figure income that's streamlined and in all honesty doesn't really need me. I plan on teaching you and documenting everything that I learned along the way. And if you get something out of today's message, if you can do me a favor, if you can like, share, and subscribe, it will give us the ability to further our message and help more people, which is what we're all about. Thank you guys so much. Let's dive in. And so today we're going to be discussing something that's more industry specific, but even though it might be industry specific, I'm going to go over it in a way that's applicable to all industries, because how you build one business is very similar to how you build another business, which is very similar to how you build another business. So even though I might be talking industry specific today, it still applies to all industries, all businesses. So I really do believe that it doesn't matter what business you are in, today's message is going to help you. So what I'm going to be talking about is how to increase profits in your life insurance business, how to increase profits in your financial business. So if you are the leader of a life insurance agency and or financial agency, and or you want to be the leader of a life insurance and or financial agency, there are some things that you need to know in order to increase profits and scale. And what I'm going to go over with you is not the generic basic stuff that you hear all the time. And by the way, the basic generic stuff that you hear all the time, I was guilty of preaching at one point because it was the same things that was preached to me. You just got to go find more clients. You got to work harder. You got to hit the pavement. You got to go find more clients, or you got to recruit bigger numbers, because if you recruit bigger numbers, by default, profits and revenue is going to go up. Do they help your problem? Absolutely. Do they fix your problem? Absolutely not. So let's go over the 3 different ways for you to increase profits in your business, okay? But here's the deal. As I get through 1 and 2, realize that 1 and 2 can't happen without 3. So it's very important that you stick around to watch number 3, because once again, 1 and 2 can't happen without 3. But let's talk about what number 1 is. Number 1 is we need to increase the amount of units that are being sold. In order to be more industry specific, we need to increase the amount of policies that are being sold. I know what you might be thinking, duh, Matt, I get that. We all know that. If I distribute more product or if I sell more product, then of course, revenue is going to go up, profits are going to go up. Of course, that's the answer. But here's the deal. How do we get that? How do we get more policies being sold? How do we distribute more product? And it's not, I got to go recruit more people, because that's what the industry says. If you just recruit more people, then bada bing, bada bow, profits will increase. But that's not the way that it works. We need to recruit more people, yes, but with the sole purpose of getting these people licensed. Because if I have 10 recruits and none of them are licensed, it doesn't matter, because these 10 people can't go sell a product. But if I have 5 people that get licensed, I would rather have 5 licenses over 10 recruits every single day, because those 5 licenses can actually go sell product, which then leads to increased distribution, increased revenue, and increased profits once again. So we need to have an obsessive focus on increasing the size of our licensed and trained field force. Because if someone's not licensed, they're not going to try to make money. If someone's not licensed, they're not going to go on a bunch of appointments. If someone's not licensed, they're not going to be distributing product. And if someone's not licensed, there's no way for them to help increase the revenue of your business, which means that we need to have an obsessive focus on, once again, getting people licensed, and not just a little amount of people licensed, as many people as you possibly can. And let me explain why. If you add 1 licensed agent to your agency and it's you and them, you guys only have 48 hours in a day. But if all of a sudden I add 10 licensed agents to my agency, I now have 240 hours in a day outside of my 24 hours, which means that the person with the most licensed agents will have the most amount of hours in a day. And the person who has the most amount of hours in the day has better odds at distributing products and bringing policies to the marketplace. And the more product and policies that are brought to the marketplace, the more revenue that comes in, and revenue leads to profits. So once again, if I have more licenses, I have more hours in a day. If I have more hours in a day, then I have more opportunity to distribute product to the marketplace. The more product I distribute to the marketplace, the more revenue I bring in. And once again, revenue leads to profits. So I need to have an obsessive focus on increasing the size of my licensed and trained field force. So mathematically and financially, why do we need to obsess over increasing the amount of licenses that we have in our agency? So let me break it down, okay? So let's just say the average licensed agent does $25,000 in revenue per year. And or to break it down to be more industry specific, 25,000 points per year. Let's just say that's the average. One licensed agent equals 25,000 points per year. Well, that means that if I add one licensed agent to my agency, I just increased my annual revenue by $25,000. If I add 10 licensed agents to my agency, then that means that I just increased my annual revenue by $250,000. If I increase my agency by 100 new licenses this month, that means that I just increased my annual revenue by over $2.5 million. So let's break that down from a financial perspective for you. If all of a sudden you increase your business by 100 licensed agents this month, and those 100 licensed agents are projected to bring in an additional $2.5 million in revenue over the next 12 months, and let's just say your average override, your average spread is 25%, that means that by you adding an additional $2.5 million of revenue to your business over the next 12 months, you also just increased your income by $625,000. Let me say that again. You just increased your annual income by $625,000. So why is this so important? Because that means that you can mathematically predict increases in revenue and profits to your business, which also means that you can mathematically predict increases to your personal income. So if we don't get obsessed about increasing the size of our licensed agencies, well then guess what? The revenue stream is going to stay stagnant and or consistent, which is not good. The only way for you to see just incredible jumps in income and the only way for you to see incredible jumps in annual revenue and for it to actually be organic, not just one big sale or whatever it might be, the only way to do this organically is to increase the size of your licensed agency. But here's the crazy part. Let's say you start adding 100 licensed agents to your agency every single month. Well, that means that you're adding $2.5 million in revenue every single year. But after 12 months, that means that you're projected to have over $30 million in revenue every single year. And you can do the math on that. Let's bring it down a scale to even 10 licensed agents every single month. DDL, double-digit licensing every single month. Well, 10 licensed agents equals $250,000 of increased revenue. $250,000 of an increased revenue being added on a monthly basis is over $3 million a year that's going to be coming into your business over the next 12 months. And if we go based off 25% of $3 million is an additional $750,000 to your income over the next 12 months. So let me explain that one more time. If you just add 10 licensed agents to your agency every single month and you do that for 12 months in a row, after 12 months, you should expect $3 million a year coming into your business. At an average of 25% override, you just added $750,000 a year to your annual income. Can we start to see why we need to obsess over increasing the amount of units sold? Because the only way to do that is to increase the amount of licenses that you have in your agency. And that, once again, will lead to more revenue and more profits in your business. And that will also skyrocket your income at the same time. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have not had the opportunity to subscribe just yet, if you can go ahead and do that, that would be incredible. We have about 10,000 plus active listeners and not all of you have subscribed just yet. So if you guys can go ahead and do that, that would be incredible. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the episode. So the second way for you to increase profits in your business is by increasing the average value of the unit that is being sold. And to make it more industry specific, you need to write and sell larger policies. And I'm not saying this from an unethical perspective. So in no way, shape, or form do I want you going out there and writing bigger policies just so you can increase profits. That is not an ethical thing to do, nor do I support that. But what I am saying is if you are in better markets and are offering better products, then by default, the average account value will go up significantly, which will then increase revenue and increase profits. So let me break this down for you on how to do that. There are two ways for you to increase the average size of the account that's being sold. The first way to do it is through better markets, okay? Better markets, better markets, better markets. And let me explain what I mean by this. If you're in a market that struggles financially, well, then that means the average policy that you're going to write is going to be very, very small to no policy at all because they financially can't afford it. And you always got to make sure that you do things ethically, which means those policies are naturally going to be smaller. But let's say you get into better markets where people make more money, where they save more money, where they have higher net worths. Well, now guess what? Now, by default, the policies in which you're going to be writing are going to be larger because they have a higher insurable need. They have more money that they can invest. They have more money in their accounts already, so they feel comfortable investing and saving more money. So by default, the average account size, the average policy size will increase significantly. And not only will it increase significantly, they have more of a need for it. Because if you're making more money, there's a higher need to save more money. If you're making more money, there's a higher need to have higher life insurance premiums to make sure that if you don't come home, your family's going to be okay. So by you being in better markets, naturally, premiums are going to go up significantly, which is not only what's best for the client in this scenario, but it's also what's best for your business, because now all of a sudden your business sees a spike in revenue and a spike in profits as well. So let's talk real quick about a huge mistake that I see people make in our industry all the time, which is helping clients with a policy based off the size of the policy that they themselves own. Meaning that because I have a small policy, I only feel comfortable helping other people with small policies, even though they might need a larger policy. And let me explain why this is such a bad thing. A, it's bad for the client, because if you have a client that has a higher insurable need, or they have the capacity to invest and grow more money, but because of your low identity and because of your own insecurities, you write them up for a small policy that's not necessarily in their best interest, then you are actually doing harm to that family, which isn't good. But from a business and an economic perspective, that also means that you're leaving a lot of profits on the table because your identity is operating at too small of a level. And so I want to give you some confidence, because even if you've only been in the industry for 3 weeks and you've only held a license for 3 weeks, whatever it might be, you should have all the confidence in the world. And that confidence shouldn't necessarily be tied to your own financial situation. It should be tied to the quality of products and services that you are able to offer families in which you sit down with. Let me give you an example of this. I don't pay my CPA to have a better financial situation than me. In fact, I have a better financial situation than him. I have a higher net worth, I make more income, the whole 9 yards. And it doesn't make me a better person in any way, shape, or form. But I didn't look at my own financial situation and then necessarily look at his financial situation as an indicator of whether or not I should do business with him. What I looked at is, does he have the knowledge? Does he have the competence? Does he have access to the services that I need? And can he know things for me so that way I don't need to learn them? So I don't pay my CPA for me to have to know everything about accounting and taxes. I pay my CPA so that way I don't need to know anything about accounting and taxes. Am I saying that I'm ignorant to the subject? Absolutely not, because he does an incredible job at teaching me and educating me along the way. My point is that if somebody's going to be doing business with you, they are not paying you to have a better financial situation than them, especially if they're wealthy. Right? Think about it. If you're Elon Musk, I guarantee you Elon Musk has a financial advisor, and I guarantee you that financial advisor does not have a higher net worth than Elon Musk. But why does Elon pay him? Elon pays him because that financial advisor knows things that Elon doesn't. And so he's paying him to have expertise in a subject matter, so that way he doesn't have to develop those expertise in that subject matter. So when you are sitting down with a potential client, potential prospect, your confidence should not be tied to your own financial situation. Your confidence should be tied to the quality of services that you are offering the families in which you are sitting down with. I don't pay my realtor so that way I need to know everything about real estate. I pay my realtor to know things about real estate so that way I don't have to. I don't pay my mortgage team for me to need to know everything about loans. I pay my mortgage team so that way I don't need to know anything about loans, and I pay them to know things so that way I don't need to know them. So just realize that if you are being brought in as a financial professional to help somebody with their finances, they are willing to pay you so that way they don't need to go learn all the information on their own. So stop doubting yourself and start actually writing people up for the account that they need and the service that they need and the policy that they need, because not only is it in the best interest of the potential client, but it's also in the best interest of the business that you're trying to build. It's a win-win-win scenario. So please, please, please stop writing people up based off your own account and start writing people up based off what they actually need. And last but not least, number 3, which like I said earlier makes 1 and 2 even possible, is we need to have an unshakable, undeniable, unwavering, unbreakable belief in what it is that we do. Because if you don't believe in the products and services that you are offering, it's going to make it extremely difficult for you to influence someone to move forward, which means the chance of you getting a policy, let alone a bigger policy, is going to be slim to none. If you don't have an undeniable, unbreakable belief in the platform in which you are working on, then it's going to make it very difficult for you to influence people to not only join you in business, but also go spend money on getting a license. So that means that in order to influence someone to join you in business, in order to influence someone to get a license, in order to influence someone to become your client, they need to see that you believe in what it is that you do. Because those who believe will be believed, and those who are convinced will be convincing. And without passion, energy, and conviction, people will see right through you and they will not want to move forward with you. So if you want more licenses and you want larger premiums or premiums at all, well then guess what? That means that you have to believe in the service, you have to believe in the platform, or you will not get those things. We need to increase our belief. And I'll go over on another podcast exactly how you can do that. So hopefully you got something out of today. Obviously, we all want to increase profits in our business. As we do so, do the right thing, do things with integrity. Never, ever, ever put down your morals, your values, and what's right. You do what's right 100% of the time, but it's okay to focus on increasing profits if you commit to doing things with integrity throughout the entire process. So if you got something out of today's content, if you can do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, leave a review. That means the absolute world to us, because like we always mention, we put out all this information for free. We just want to help as many people as we possibly can. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next week on the next episode of the Leaders Only Podcast.